So upon reflection, yesterday was the worst. Like, congrats, buddy, you did the worst. Anyone could have done it. Whoops. Swell. I messed up irrevocably. That's nifty. Anyway, to apologize, I'm gonna draw Alistair like a whore. Sorry. Somebody on Twitter suggested drawing Alistair in this, like, it looks like a Leyendecker, like a JC Leyendecker, but, like, I don't know if it is exactly. And I thought it would be fun. So I'm doing it. This is probably attractive to somebody, which is why I said it's kind of, I don't know, whore-esque. Somebody has to like it, presumably. I'm just getting in, like, the pose so I don't have to trace from the drawing. I'll even out the proportions to be more my sort of thing in, like, 5-10 minutes. It'll probably be easier to draw. But also, sorry about ending the stream so suddenly yesterday. I got so high that I got really bad at art. I was struggling. It wasn't good. I also stopped being able to see, so that was scary. Sobering experience. I don't think it's supposed to do that. Ain't that nifty? And then, then I fell asleep for a while because I didn't know what to do. And then 2 hours later, my dad just bars at my door and is like, okay, we're gonna have a conversation now. And it's really fun that he doesn't pay a lot of attention to me at this point in our relationship. Because that means he didn't even know anything. He did not notice. Either that or I was taking all my energy to stand still. Regardless, I won. We're all good. Getting in the sock garters. Somebody has to be into this, I think. I'm saying this with a lot of confidence. Anyway, this is only supposed to be like, hey, I'm gonna finish up the art and do the things I planned to do yesterday, but now. For nobody but myself. I do still plan on streaming tonight, like, a game. There's been this game that I've been wanting to play, the restaurant one, where you're in the 1960s. I've been really interested in that one for a while now, and I thought it might be fun. Apparently they have, like, a whole bunch of games. The company that made it, and this is just the one that happened to pop off at the very time that I found out about it, so I guess I'll play that one first. Let's see. I find Alistair to honestly just be, like, the hardest one to draw well, just because his fucking head. It's like, he has, like, he looks away. There's nuances, I perceive. Also, sorry about the loud noises from my computer. My friend is texting me about burgers. Because of course he is. Of course he doesn't have anything better to do. But then again, look at me. Look at where I'm at. Hey, Joseph. Sorry about yesterday. Basically, I just intend to do these two drawings. Maybe throw in a Valentino or a Vox if I have the time. Let's see. In the original drawing, the neck is like that. Maybe I can just have it as a thin underlayer. Nobody's gonna fucking care. Yeah. Sorry, I want to get, like, the way that looks just right. So we're gonna have it real thin so I don't have to deal with tracing allegations. I mean, to be fair, if I say it like allegations, it sounds like it's true. But I guess that's just kind of how language works. Everything's very subjective. But yeah, I am feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. I don't think you should be allowed to do that. Not in like a moral sense. I just don't think that I should do that ever again. I messed up really badly. In my mind, it's probably worse than it is, but I maintain. Bad time. Bad time. I'm gonna raise this a little bit so I get the hand detailing. 2 knuckles in, 2 knuckles out. Okay, yeah, but like, ethically, this is like an art piece that's supposed to be like original. No, I get nothing out of tracing it. In fact, it'll probably look worse if I trace it. Tracing is common in, like, industry, but that's just more because you're trying to actively replicate somebody's style. And the easiest way to do that is to take a model sheet and make sure it's as accurate as it can possibly be. But for original art, you do want to, look, as long as it's understood, I don't know. Nobody really cares about the ethics of tracing. It feels like such a 5-year-old thing to get really upset about at this point. I don't know, there are bigger concerns. But it is really surreal going to art college and watching a guy next to you just trace Dragon Ball Z pictures and be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of inspiration lately. And it's like, yeah, I wonder why, Mike. Maybe it's because you don't do anything? Like, look, it's fine if you're just doing it as, like, a hobby or to get better, but, buddy, this is art college! This is college where you go to learn art! I'm gonna work on his face because I'm having trouble with the body and nobody needs to know. The face is the most interesting part. A little bit of that extra hatching because I'm a sucker for it. I'm sorry. I like this little spike effect in the eyes, but I don't know about that yet. I want to heavy up his eyelids a little bit. The thing about Alistair's face is that he's... I think he has, like, a almost feminine look to him in a way that's appealing to me, but it's also, like, difficult to pull off. Because he's... You can't go too feminine or else it's wrong. He keeps all his smiles. Also, I like this series and the way that everything he does is, like, very, very sharp. I love that. That's a face. The hair is also fun. It's a nightmare. I could not imagine anybody being able to pull this off, and yet somehow... Christ. The thing is that it sucks. The hair sucks. You don't come up with this just naturally. It's the scene influence. It has to be. This is the only reason why he's like that. And then you just never change it. It sucks. He looks so mild-mannered. This is just like a guy. Out there in the world. He doesn't even look vaguely malicious. This is just him, like, getting ready for bed or something. I don't know. This is before he has to, like, actually talk to anybody at this hotel. And, like, actually have to worry about anything. This is as close as Bliss can get for him. Oh yeah, I wonder if they're still gonna stick with, like, the stuff that was established previously. I mean, I don't know. That's the issues with the show, really. I think it's just the fact that it's existed online for so long. It's just inevitably things come out that people are already aware of, or you have all this time to like theorize and figure out plot twists before they even happen. And it's like, it's not her fault for continuing with a story that like she planned, but at the same time, it's hello. Like the Vaggies and Angel theory, like that's the thing. It's been around. It was proven canon in the series, and people are like, such a cheap twist. But also, it's like, it was set up well. It was just really obvious. And that's what people are most annoyed about. It's better that it didn't come out of nowhere, but it's also, at the same time, really unsatisfying. Maybe it's because we're right? I don't know. I heard that in some early versions of the story, though, that Vaggie was supposed to be, like, a soul that committed suicide. And I don't know. There's something kind of fascinating about that. I was talking about it vaguely yesterday, you know, as vaguely as possible, where like, Angel Dust was born into, like, a crime family, so he didn't really get a choice in his morality, and while Alistair chose to become a serial killer, even if it was just to, like, get out of a situation, if he was attacked, if he had killed an abusive family member, something like that, it was still a choice that he made. And it kind of reflects his own view, like, mindset and how he approaches the hotel, where it's just like, oh, yeah, well, everybody chose what they did in life, and this is their punishment now! They must suffer now for the crimes of the above. But, like, it doesn't convey that they're, like, truly malicious people. It's all very circumstantial. I don't know, I think this series has, like, a potential to say some interesting things about morality, but, like, I have no idea if they're gonna weigh in on that all that much, or if it's just background scraps for, like, people like me to pick up on and be like, see, this show has merit, I promise. You know, seething and molding. As you do. As I do. But I don't know, I feel like there's some stuff there, like, there's this whole thing in, like, Angel's trial in heaven, where they're like, oh, haven't you ever had a hard day and had to drink? Or, like, party with friends or take a break? In order to just feel right again, and they're like, no, it's heaven, we don't have bad days. I can't help but feel like maybe there's something there about, like, the prosperity gospel, where it's like, oh, if you have wealth, if you have power, if things are going good for you, you must be loyal and good to the church. And if things are going bad for you, then that must be your problem. You know, that sort of thing. Where nobody's really on, like, an even playing field. I think I said it yesterday, but some people get a stairway to heaven and some people get an escalator. It's not easy to be virtuous, but some people are primed to be better for it than others. It's easier to live above the gutter when you're, I don't know. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think the thing that got me at the beginning was that they're like, oh, sinners, they have to choose to come here. We can't just force them. And honestly, okay, this goes with another strong opinion I have about, like, the series. I think Charlie should be scarier. Like, not in, like, an edgy way, not in, like, the way that, like, oh, she's surrounded by demons, and the whole point is that she's a Disney princess in hell. I mean in the sense where it's, like, she's a demon. She's ultimately very disconnected from her own population. She's never seen, like, there's, like, this whole thing in heaven where she got to see, like, yeah, thank you, that's way better. It's hard to be poetic on the spot, okay? I usually get time to rehearse and rewrite. But, like, she's, like, there's this whole thing in heaven where she's like, oh, I get to see all the cute animals that they don't have in hell. And it's like, oh, right, she has never experienced a single ounce of human life. And there's, like, this thing about it, right? Where it's like, I don't know, I saw this really good picture once, just one piece of fan art where someone was like, where baby Charlie is sitting in bed and is like, if sinners go to heaven or hell when they die, where do I go when I die? Where it's like, she is truly unique, right? Like, she's a Nephilim or something, like, angel-born, demon-born spawn. There's truly nobody really like her, and she can't really connect with humanity all that well due to, like, never experiencing it. She understands the impulse for vice, but it's all, so much of everything that she experiences has to be foreign to her in some way, and nobody can ever truly get it. Like, the closest person who might would be her father, but truly, how close can she get when he doesn't even call hell his own home? It's more like just an extra fancy prison for him. Proportionally, it's fucking weird. I hate that. Maybe if I just start with the torso. Legs, something. Get this fucked. This sucks. But I don't know, I feel like she should be scarier, more detached, more disconnected. Like, there has to be this sense to her that she's, like, distant from her own population in some way. Where, why shouldn't she bend people to her whims? If it's for their benefit. She's just trying to help. I feel like if the show had more episodes, this would be, like, a really fun way to treat her character. Because at the moment, like, it's not her fault, but she feels really boring. And I think that just comes from the fact that, like, you know, this is an edgy show with a, like, where the whole point is that you're just gonna see a bunch of supervillains just hanging out all the time. Getting into boss battles, singing their stupid little songs, like, you know, the whole point of the series is more or less just see a bunch of villains hang out, and then she's the Disney princess in hell, and, like, I just feel like it would be fun if they played with her disconnect with her population more. Because at the moment, it just seems to come from, like, the fact that nobody really respects her, as opposed to, like, just the sheer malice that has to exist between not understanding anything. Like, she clearly pities them, but she doesn't know why. Anyway, I just think it would be more compelling if Charlie was just, like, still as happy and jovial as we see her in the main series, but with, like, just a touch of that edge that, you know, adds a little flavor. Because otherwise in the series, it's a lot of like, oh, we do trust falls, we do summer camp activities, this will redeem people who are addicted to crack, yeah. I don't know, I just think it could be more compelling. She's totally detached from her own population's needs and wants, so why not lean in? All she knows is that dying is bad. Anyway, yeah, that's just my take. I think she would just be more compelling if she was allowed to be scarier. God, that rope sucks. I think I have to draw his legs first before I just do the robe. Just to give an idea of where the fabric is supposed to drape. Now the question is, usual dress shoes or hooves? Hooves could be fun. Love hooves. It's very fun. Like, I don't know. It would just be so much more compelling if there was that element. I mean, I think they're already doing a lot with, like, the Lesser Key of Solomon. That's novel, at the very least. She clearly already has an idea of what she's going for. It's not that, like, I don't think it's biblical enough. Clearly it's a riff. I just think... I'm more talking on, like, the characterization level, just this one little thing. Because otherwise, I hate to admit it, I want to fight for my girlie so bad, but Charlie is so boring. You know it, I know it. I want to fight in the Yuri mines, but I can't. Jackie is so boring. You know it. Like, they just don't have a lot of chemistry. I think it's because they're mostly waylaid by the plot. I said yesterday that my thesis is that they're, like, the least horny couple in the show, so they have the most distinct lack of chemistry. In contrast to, like, the other couples that they write that all have some form of, like, sexual moment conscribed onto them. And I don't think I'm wrong about that, is the thing. You'd think I'd be ashamed, but I'm not. To be fair, I think it's a trap that some people fall into when writing, like, femme/relationships, is that it's very often where it's very pure and innocent, and forget that women also like sex. Controversial opinion. Ah, fuck, maybe this sucks too. Maybe everything is a lie. Then again, Torso's alright. I think he just needs to be a little taller. That leg isn't very good though, I'm sorry. This is taking literally forever. In my defense, it is hard. It is hard. I am doing my best. Another thin sketch. Real. Let's see. Then you do this to define out the shapes. I wasn't that serious before, so now I have to do this. Because otherwise I'm losing. I'm losing so hard. Yeah, I think the supporting cast was, like, had the chance to be way more vibrant and interesting. I feel like Charlie's just dealing with the burden of being the protagonist, and so it's just all this stuff where it's like, oh, she has to move the plot along, and they only have so many episodes to do it, so it's like... Like, I swear, if the series was longer, it would be a blessing, but tragically we live in hell. Where if... I want filler seasons back. I want filler content. I miss it. I miss watching some guys have a good time. I feel like Charlie suffers just the most from that. Meanwhile, Alistair benefits the greatest from having so few appearances. So few appearances. It's like, you know, the intrigue. He's got shit going on. You don't know. You're not supposed to care. We live in a bad era for television, despite also being one of the greatest eras for television. This is a dichotomy we have to live with now. And it is hell. I'm gonna add, like, ribs to this robe. Remind me. I don't want to actually have to draw his leg. You've seen me draw his leg. I don't know, everybody complains about the pacing of Has-Been. It's easy. But also, to be fair, the fact that everybody just kind of wants more episodes says something good, right? Like, it needs the time to flesh that out, but also, like, yeah, I would sit there for 20 minutes to watch these guys go to the grocery store. Whatever. That's what we're doing this week? Sure. I honestly kind of need it for my own mental health at this point. I do kind of want to give him that slight deer look. Oh shit, that is terrible. Christ. Every day I try my very best. Except for yesterday. When shit happened. And I was not allowed. Ah, shit. That still sucks. This sucks. You know what? We're taking a break. You hear that, everybody? We're taking a break from that drawing to open up the one I did yesterday instead. Oh, shit. I cut it off. I fucked up. I could not fuck up worse. I do have a saved version of this image. You know what? We're going back to the other image for just a brief minute. Please and thank you. I hope you can all hear me dying inside. I miss filler so much. I think more media should have filler. It's not even filler anymore. That's just called characterization. That's just called getting to know the guys. Yeah. I still have a version of this saved, but it's like, are you allowed to see my files? This is all so sudden. The answer is yes! We're safe! I don't have to take you through my art folder. It's called a new art folder, fucking fuck you. Because I thought I deleted my other art file and was about to kill. Okay. We're trying this again. The thing is, it's still supposed to be Alistair, and he's like as thin as a rail, okay? So we're gonna get that knee there. And I kind of want to give him that slight, like, deerish tint to it. Where it's, like, a little strange and bony in some way. I don't know. I'm not hating this as much as I've hated everything else. This is called progress. I don't know, like, recently I've gotten really into watching House MD. And by recently, I mean, like, this has been something I've been doing for months, where I just go to class and watch House MD while I work. And then I tell my friends about what happens in my episodes of House MD, because they love it. They hate it. They hate hearing me talk about it. But I watch it a lot, because it's just that there's 8 fucking seasons of it. And it's there, and I don't have to worry about getting canceled. And that's literally all it takes now. It's like, oh yeah, sure. 8 seasons? Nice. But also, I watch a lot of House MD because I've started to actually unironically love it. Like, you think it's boring, it's like, oh, just another boring medical show. And like, for the first 2 seasons, sure, whatever. But there's like weird shit going on in the background all the fucking time, where it's just like, no, you can't give this woman malaria, or like, I don't know, they do crazy shit on that show every goddamn day. I get to go up to my friends and be like, wow, they made the Australian doctor kiss a 10-year-old. And then they worry that she had a sexually transmitted disease, and the guy had to be like, what? No, she's never even been kissed. And they have to suss it out of him that he kissed a 10-year-old. And everybody is surprisingly fine with it. Like, still mildly disgusted, but it's also, like, 2004, so we're not doing anything about that yet. He just kind of gets to keep walking. There was also an episode where, yeah, no, every episode they just throw something fucked up onto the characters. I think it's, like, it's doing that, like, classic Star Trek thing of, like, oh, hey, we're gonna talk about a social issue through the lens of our medium, of our story, which is fun, and I love it. I love the Star Trek thing. I love having philosophy be vaguely explained to me throughout an episode of television. Because when else am I gonna have these debates with people? But sometimes they just do crazy shit that I feel like is I don't know, like, sometimes the characters are consistent with their beliefs, where it's just like, I have to explain plots for you guys to get this. I have to talk about House MD so much. But, like, sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, this is a character who has very specific traits and has very specific reasons for feeling this way. And then there's, like, that one episode where the Australian doctor, whose name is Chase, is like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go on the war on obesity on the side of, like, fuck this 10-year-old little girl. Fuck this 10-year-old, she's too fat, I hate her. And it's like, Jesus Christ, he's so fucking mean to this child, and it's like, dude, you're 30! Lay off! What's your problem? But then there was also the episode where they were like, hey, there's this guy in the hospital, and it turns out that he's really into BDSM because his dom set off the heart monitor because he was getting choked out, and Chase was the one who figured it out, and they're all like, hey, Catholic boy who was in seminary school, why the fuck do you know that? I don't know, it's fun as, like, a character study show, but also, it's fun because there's 8 seasons of it that I can just watch whenever, and I don't have to worry about it getting canceled, and I don't have to worry about it being good. It was on the air for 8 seasons, it won, like, a single Emmy one time, and then it was out of there. I have one thing in common with House MD, and it's that I also have an Emmy. This does not come up very often. But I am gonna say it now, just to fuck with y'all, you. You don't even know. This is really extensive Amara lore. Yeah, sure, you can just gush about undead girl murder, farce, whatever. I mean, I'm talking about House MD, and I'm sure that's very delightful for all of you. I wonder if I can do this later when I have, like, well, gaming. I wonder if I could get away with it. I bet Isaiah would get upset. It'd be funny. What's to say? I mean, technically it's a student Emmy, so way less interesting, right? I got when I was 18, I did a thing, and it was like, whoa, we think you're so good that you're getting a student Emmy. It looks nothing like the real Emmys that people get for, like, television shows, but I guess you can put it on your shelf. Pretty cool, right? It was pretty cool. I do have it on my shelf. I have lore. Like I said, lore that does not come up very often. That arm is acceptable. It is not good. It is acceptable. I will take it. Sometimes you're a little stupid. What else do I need to say? That just sounds like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't know. I wish more people did more stuff with the public domain characters in, like, more interesting ways. It's fun that the public domain existed to begin with. There's just some guys out there forever. I think it would be cool if I die. If I die, of course. If all my characters go into the public domain. But with my luck, it'd probably just get... I don't know. The thing about the public domain is that it gives anybody the ability to do anything that they want with your character forever. And I don't know. On one hand, hell yeah. On the other hand, Christ. Is anybody even gonna give a shit if, like, 50 billion anime girls just enter the public domain? Ah, this sucks. Every day of my life I just say this sucks and then keep on kicking. God bless. Maybe this is what I was made for. It drapes in a way that I hate. I hate fabric. Fuck fabric. Oh, can I go back to gushing about House MD? I think the thing that's really fun about it is that ultimately it's just a fucking character study. Like, it's not like Grey's Anatomy. It's like, this guy is getting beaten, like, this guy goes into the hospital and is like, hey, we're gonna stick this patient full of bullets in the MRI machine and watch as they're ripped from the body because the MRI machine is a giant magnet! And then they do that and cost the hospital billions of dollars. They also do an episode where one of the other doctors get rabies. There's a doctor that won't stop setting fire to other people, including himself. It's like... like, you think it's gonna be boring, like Grey's Anatomy or something, where it's just like, we get it, Grey. You got anatomy. You flaunt it. But House MD is just really stupid. The whole hospital, and you're like, oh, how does he keep getting these extraordinary like, people will make fun of it online, like, oh yeah, sure, this is the one time where he gets a girl with a bubonic plague, and it's like, no, this happens because people deliberately seek him out as the guy who can figure out if you have the bubonic plague. There is an episode where somebody does have the bubonic plague. It's one of my favorites. Funny story. Basically, I'm gonna tell you this whole plot. Basically, this girl gets a dog from her girlfriend, and they have to take it back because she's afraid of commitment, so she just... And then she contracts, like, bubonic plague from the fleas on the dog. But more importantly, because she was planning to leave her girlfriend because she just was bored of her, her girlfriend gives up her kidney to her, so that way she'll always feel obligated to stay with her out of guilt. And it is literally just about getting her to stay. It's not about love, it's just... It's insane to me. All the other doctors are like, hey, you know, this isn't gonna make her love you, and it's like, hey, you don't know that. Iconic. Toxic Yuri. Queen shit. It's really funny. This episode, they were not homophobic to the gay couple at all in this episode, and then like 3 years down the line, they're like, oh, we gotta extra compensate for the fact we didn't do homophobia in the Toxic Yuri episode by being extra biphobic to the one character who is. Side note, they do get, like, it's fun. They have, in, like, season 4, they decide, hey, tournament arc time to introduce some new doctors, because literally everybody else left because they're so sick of House MD's ass, because he's so destructive and toxic that he sucks to work with. So they get in these new guys. It's very fun. Which includes the Yeah, come on, it's Yuri. I gotta. Big fan of Toxic Yuri. You gotta know this by now. It's just so funny to me. Anyway, I told people about that episode plot, and then they all called me a bottom, which sucked for me. But anyway, House MD tournament arc. You get the one guy that they make Mormon jokes about, and black jokes about, because he's both, until they just make him leave. They ran out of jokes for him, so they just packed him up, sent him home. We got this character named 13, who does go on to join the main cast, whose thing is that A, she is bisexual, and B, she is terminally ill. So that's fun. Right? It was just airing in the background of every other hospital show, and then you actually turn it on and it's batshit insane. You watch enough episodes and you're like, oh, so this is the episode where Dr. House is taken a hostage by a patient who has not been treated for any of his medical problems and is now holding the entire hospital at gunpoint with multiple hostages in order to get treated by Dr. House, and he's still treating this whole thing like a big fucking joke, because nothing truly matters to this man, because he is deeply traumatized and toxic. And then, the best part is that they take him down to, get him tested, and it's like, you would only have this disease if you were anywhere near the tropics. Have you been in the tropics? Anywhere south? And it's like, no, I've never even been south of Florida! And it's like, Florida is in the tropics. And he's like, oh, as if he didn't just try to shoot him. It sucks. The series, it's like, the thing is that it's really funny to me, and that's enough. Anyway, like I was saying, they have a doctor named 13 there. They just kind of, they either talk about the fact that she's dying of a terminal illness, or she's bisexual. Those are her two traits that they are allowed to do, like, things about. The thing is that Dr. House is a hater. I don't know exactly how to put it, but he is a hater, so he just kind of bullies every single one of his employees, and then gets upset when they don't invite him to go bowling later. Every cast member has, like, a thing that he picks on them for about, like, oh, hey, you're Indian, and also a nerd! Oh, you are a woman and a bitch. You are cheating on your wife. And they use those characters to do, like, their whole characterization study episodes. You know, the character study stuff I was talking about. Yeah. It's not a good show, but it is there, and I do watch it frequently enough to care. But more importantly, you all have to hear about my Princess Diana, Amber Valaxis, in that she's just kind of like a woman who is cruel. She's basically just like House MD if he was a woman and had to deal with that, and I think that's fun as a character thing, because he kind of hates dealing with her. But then she begins dating his boy best friend, so he has to deal with her all the time, and they're forced to reflect on the fact that they both want to hang out with their best boy buddy. They have, like, very, very specific neuroses and issues. It's so fun to me. It appeals to me alone, in ways you can not begin to understand. I think at the end of the day, it might just be because she's a mean woman. It's not necessarily about that, but it does help. It does. I gotta play for the home team, you know? Women are never allowed to be mean enough, and he's literally just out there calling her cutthroat bitch because, yeah. But you gotta understand that it's like so insane that it's like, okay, the fun other thing about House MD is that there's subtext. There's gay subtext, even. Which appeals. It appeals. We can't deny this. You know what I am. I admitted liking the Toxic Yuri episode. But, like, the thing is, it's like, when he begins to, when, like, House MD's boy bestie begins dating Amber Valaxis by Princess Diana, the cutthroat bitch, he literally approaches his boy bestie and is like, you like her personality. You like that she's willing to make a fool of a people if it serves her. You like that she's cutthroat. And she's, oh my god, you're dating me. And they both have to stand there and process the fact that this is what he decided to pursue in a romantic partner. And instead of, like, doing a witty comeback, he just leaves the scene. He deliberately went out of his way to track down his boy bestie and his date, Amber Valaxis, my Princess Diana, at a restaurant. And then as soon as he comes to this realization, he leaves! And I don't know what else it could mean. They got too sincere. They flew too close to the sun, and it was over. It was over! Anyway, Helson Canon. Also, I haven't done anything to explain, like, House MD's boy bestie. Basically, he has, like, a single friend named James Wilson because, haha, John Watson. By the way, House MD is supposed to be like an adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. This barely comes up in the story beyond the fact that occasionally they'll be like, ah, yes, Irene Adler. And it's like, no! But yeah, it is supposed to be like a thinly veiled adaptation of like Sherlock Holmes, and it just never comes up very often, but it is. So, you know, he has like a boy bestie. He has like a boy bestie named James Wilson. And the thing is that this guy, he's so funny. He's like the inverse opposite of whatever House MD is, in that he almost gave a guy his kidney just because the guy needed it more than he did. And it's like, he does not know this guy. He didn't, it's not like a donor bank situation thing. He was just gonna do it. Just barely even prompted. And it takes his boy bestie to be like, hey, boy bestie, House MD, to be like, hey, this is crazy. It's not a good show. On the other hand, it is the best show because, damn, what bullshit, right? It's not very good, but does that make it great? It's like, they literally just say, aha, you have, like, literally his whole thing is that he's, fuck, I'm sorry, I got really excited, I'm on this tangent, but I'm also, like, talking with the understanding that either you guys know nothing or you guys know exactly as much as I know, and that ain't working. The thing is that, like, his actor was playing into this subtext entirely on accident. Like, the thing is that this guy feasts, like, the whole concept behind James Wilson is that he feasts on need. He has, like, 3 ex-wives who are like, oh no, yeah, James Wilson, he was very satisfying. I loved being around him. I just could not date him. I kind of couldn't stand him. He loved me, but he, like, most of the people he falls in love with are just, like, wounded bird types. And he falls out of love with them as soon as they're, like, gain any sort of independence. And meanwhile, you meet House MD, whose whole thing is that, like, it's, like, he's kind of needy. Like, honestly. He's just constantly bullying his best friend to be like, hey, come on, pay for my lunch, get me drugs, do this for me, do that for me, and it's like, it fulfills exactly what he wants out of a relationship. Which is just somebody that ultimately just needs him all the time. Because he is but a vessel for that. And the worst part is that the actor who played him was playing into the subtext unintentionally. Like, every time there's an interview that comes up, it's like, oh, come on, can't guys be friends? Like, friends? Why does everything have to be gay nowadays? Jesus Christ. It's 2004 when this show came out. We weren't thinking about that. And then you get Hugh Laurie, who plays House MD, and also the dad, and Stuart Little, who's like, no, this was very intentional on my part. I think they're in love with each other. I think House needs this man more than anything. And it's really, really funny to me. But also, how do you do that on accident? How do you do that on accident? Is this just what men are like? I'm fascinated. Enraptured. Intrigued. I'm having trouble drawing that arm, so I'm just taking this arm so I can get the good fabric folds. No one has to know. You all will know, but this will be our secret. That we take to the grave. Like I said, it's a bonkers-ass show that I began watching purely because I knew that it had a lot of seasons. so that means I could put it on as background noise. I didn't expect to get genuinely invested. I'm not. I didn't do his face good. I'm sorry. I think I made it too, like, soft and gentle, as opposed to his usual vibe of not soft and not gentle. I think we will be best buddies. But yeah, anyway, House MD. It's better than you'd think. It's really funny. The thing is, like, oh my god, I have to get back into, like, the fact that the subtext was unintentional because, like, in a late season, like, season 7, season 8, whatever, they do a whole episode for, like, the side plot, the B plot for the episode is the fact that House and Wilson's neighbor thinks that they're gay, you know, because they're two men above the age of 30 who live together naturally. But the thing is, they both want to use this opportunity to hit on the woman by being available. But the thing is that, well, James Wilson is like, haha, I am a heterosexual man. My roommate is lying to you because he thinks it's funny. House is out there like, oh yeah, I'm a bit emotional about, like, my roommate is so deeply closeted, and honestly, you are the first woman I've ever fallen in love with. I think you could be the one. And that's how he plans to sleep with her. But the thing is, he's playing up the queer aspect the whole episode, and it's so funny. It's like, Jesus, I can't even tell if this is homophobic anymore. I think he might just actually be gay. It's funny. Okay, yeah, you can't deny that he's a bit of a dick, but to be fair, like, basically any show in this, like, vague mystery genre, you always get a guy who's kind of a dick. Like, and to be fair, that's, like, it's honestly part of it. I mean, to be fair, I eat up these kinds of shows like candy. Like, stupid mystery genre shows that are real camp. I used to watch Gotham, too. Like, for fun. Not because I thought it was sincerely good, but because it was just, like, easy to get sucked into, like, oh man, what is Carmine Falcone doing? He's dating an underage girl? Ooh, how scandalous. Honestly, House MD is good if you like drama and want to, like, have opinions for an hour. Because the thing is that every medical case is treated both as, like, a case, but also as a character exploration thing that I discussed earlier, where it's like House versus religion. He can't accept the idea of a loving God because he can't accept himself, whatever. But a lot of the episodes are genuinely like that, where you just kind of sit the characters down and have them do bullshit. Say bullshit. Have opinions about, like, homelessness and gay issues and abortion. And it's like, oh man, I can't wait to and the thing is that they're never, like, specific with which one they're gonna do it for, so it's like, oh man. Guess we gotta see the Australian doctor bully the 10-year-old. What? The most important thing is that I'm doing my best. And maybe I can make it less obvious. Christ. It's hard. It's already hard to draw and stream because I'm expected to be entertaining at the same time, but it's also hard just to draw this guy. I chose a bad pose. And to be fair, I am a slut for this character exploration bullshit, which is why I've stuck with the show for so long. Like, I've been, like, season 5. I've only taken a break for spring break. There's 8 seasons. He goes to prison in one of them. He goes to prison and hangs out with Lin-Manuel Miranda, fresh off of In the Heights in 2008. Woo! I got his full body. It took several hours. Feels like it, at least. It's not good, but it is mine. I don't know. Like, yeah. I think, like, if you really wanted to see it as, like, the character exploration that I see it as, like, the true vision of how good the show can be, there's an episode called One Room in season 3, where basically while on clinic duty, House has to deal with a victim of rape who wants to only talk to him, despite the fact that even she doesn't know why. And he knows that he's not built to comfort this girl. He knows better than to try to, like, actually do anything about it because he is who he is and he cannot fundamentally change that. He's a dick. He's the last person that anybody would want to comfort them during this time, but this girl wants him, so he wants to at least do the best job he can. At least that's how I think of it. To be fair, there's, like, he, like, tries to imply that her forcing him to be in the same room as her when he doesn't want to be is tantamount to rape, and then she just yells at him until she leaves. Which, like, fair! As he should! But the thing is, she asked this question, like, has anything bad ever happened to you? And he has to question that. Where he, like, goes up to all his employees and they give him various answers to how he should respond to this, which is fun as, like, a character test. Like, you have Wilson, his best friend, who generally knows best and is familiar enough with tragedy that people generally thank him for being the one who tells them about their cancer diagnosis because, you know, oncologist. That's his job, by the way. I never established it. They are doctors. But, like, his best friend tells him to, like, just tell the truth of his real-life experiences. He goes up to his employee named Foreman, who is known for having a really down-to-earth, grounded sort of deal about him, and tells him to tell her that your life has sucked. It hasn't. She just wants to feel less alone. It's not about what actually happened to you, it's about knowing that bad things will happen, and you just have to get through it. His other employee, the bleeding heart Cameron, who's, like, notorious for being such a lover of wounded birds that her last husband was some terminal cancer patient, which is apparently iffy for every other doctor, tells him to say that his life has been good. He says that it hasn't been. Contradiction there. Fun. I think he just does it because he gets a satisfaction out of being contradictory, but that's not what this is about. Where she says, she wants to know that things can get better. So tell her that things can get better. Life goes on. And then, Chase, the Australian doctor, is like, fuck it, can you just keep her asleep? Because, fuck, he's basically the successor to House. He doesn't know any better than he does. And he makes fun of him for this as well. I don't know, his face, it's not very proud. I feel like it's just very humbled. It's very funny to me. I'm gonna give him a little tooth. Maybe this makes it look more that he just got out of bed. This is a rare Alistair. Unseen by human eyes. But yeah, I think the show is best when it functions as a character perspective. And I think that's a great episode for demonstrating its virtues. Because, you know, it shows that he's a dick. It shows that he's still awful. But it's also, like, him genuinely trying to be nice. To be fair, they then also try to talk about abortion, and it's like, okay. He has his opinion, she has hers. I'm not saying mine because I am a micro-celebrity. You know, micro-celebrity, but, you know, right to choose, all that. I don't know whose opinion was expressed by the writers is the thing. Like, I don't know which writer got to always just give House the proper perspective, because he's always going to be the one the narrative takes the side of. Must be very satisfying to have a character that's just always supposed to be right. To be fair, it's not. He's suffering all the time. He is addicted to drugs. He almost dies multiple times due to, like, overdosing. Because that's the other fun thing about House MD. He's disability representation. But it's also 2004, so they're, like, a little fucky with it, where he's like, I would rather die than be disabled. And that's a perspective I have. And it's interesting to see. But also, they do still treat him like, I don't know. He does actually have to deal with, like, disabled issues. It's not just like, oh, the cane is just for show. It's like, he has to deal with the elevator being out of service. He has to deal with his parking lot being stolen, that sort of shit. And I don't know. They can't seem to decide how to portray it all the time. I think I've rambled enough about, like, House MD. I'm not gonna have a lot to say for it later. But I literally did only begin watching it, I maintain, because it was there. It was on the same platform that had Hadspin, so I began watching it, and now look at me. Is it good? It ran for 8 seasons. It cannot be good. I think that's the only thing we can all agree. I'll draw the cushion later. Right now we're gonna color, because coloring is way more fun. Love and Light. Yippee! Yeah, that's a... Sort of grayish. Sort of... I'm trying to figure out the right tones for him. Just kind of color splashing. It's... I say that's a good gray for him. Yippee! I feel like this took way too long for me to figure out how to do! But the most important thing is that it has been done, and I have done it. He usually wears gloves, so I'm not going to color in his hands. This is a reminder for me. It also feels weird to kind of see him like this. It's like, wow. Whore. Not even on purpose, just whore. Love that for him. Robe colors. Yeah, the worst part about texturing so early in is that while it makes the images look more complete, it means I have to, like, hand color things because the fill bucket won't get everything. But, like, wow, look at him! He's grandpa colored. He's grandpa. Yeah, that's exactly it! I think that could be just, like, the exact reason why Hadspin has my brain so bad. I think the thing is that I see potential in both shows, tragically. And that makes me more attached to them because I'm already rewriting them in my mind. What if I did texture? Ooh. Acrylic texture. No. Yeah? Yeah. Brainworms. Honestly, I'm really glad to finally have brainworms about something else, though. Like, House MD, whatever, right? Nobody gives a shit. Even I barely, like, I care about it, but it's like, it's, you know, eh. But Aspen has captured my brain in ways that are indescribable. I'm not on Etsy looking at House MD merchandise. I love, okay, Angel Dust, I love his stupid little accent. He's a real one for it. Multiply again. I think the acrylic just adds a little pop. Yes, precisely. I've engaged in commerce about it. There are stakes now. There's skin in the game. Like, I have put profits aside just so I could, like, be like, ooh, maybe I can get this little pin. Because I need the little pin. Logically, I know I'm gonna forget about it in, like, the next week, but I think I'm almost reaching the point where I'd be willing to make my own merch. Oh, rest in peace. Like, I'm getting to the point where I'd be willing to just make my own merchandise. Just, like, not even to sell, just to have. Like, fuck it. You know? Got the impressions in there, and now just getting that acrylic texture in there. Oh, nice. Maybe a little less. I don't know, it's just been like the one thing that's been making me really, really happy lately. You just need that kind of bliss to be able to survive, I think. It's made me excited about animation again. I don't know, it's just made me excited enough to just keep on going. Which is really sad in some capacity. But luckily, I soldier on. Thank God. Okay, more Amara lore coming up now. Beyond the Emmy thing. I did recently submit my animations to Spindlehorse in the hopes of being able to get a 2D animation position because they mentioned that they were open for that. And, like, I got so excited I danced around my house being like, yes, it's been 5 months since they opened, maybe I have a shot! Like, it was 6 a.m. I was delusional. I tried to start animating right then and there as if I didn't have to go to school in, like, an hour. And I have no reason to think I'm gonna get picked, but there's so many talented people, but also... it's never gonna happen, but, like... it could? Like... at least I tried? Like, at least I tried. That, and not to bully, like, the 9-year-olds in the Twitter comments, but, like, people on that post just keep asking about voice acting. Like, she isn't just like, she isn't already in the leagues where she can cast Broadway talent for her YouTube show. Like, buddy, you are not getting that voice acting gig. And also, you're 9. Oh shit, my tablet just died. Hold on, I need to get my charger connected. Boop. Looks like we're back. Like, it's never going to happen, but I want it so bad. God, those have to be like, that has to be like the worst sentence in the English language, doesn't it? You want something, but it's just never gonna happen. You're never gonna get it. Why would you? You're just a 22-year-old out there, just... Christ. It's never going to happen, but, like, God. I hope. I guess that's all I really can do. I guess. I kind of feel bad for bringing it up at all now. Like, I didn't know what you guys are gonna say. I've never even animated on this channel before, so you guys are gonna be like, whoa, yeah, you totally can do it yourself. What's the point? I've been thinking about maybe making some animation stuff for the channel, but there's never enough of an incentive. I don't know, it all feels very drop in the bucket around here. I would like to make animated stuff, but with the time that I could take all by myself, it's... I don't know. It feels like it would be more fulfilling, but it's not why people come here. I know better. Sorry, this was a weird, depressing tangent for me, huh? Apologies. I just yearn. And I'm stupid for it, but that has never stopped me before. Anyway, wow. Loser time. Sorry. Being emotionally honest was awful. I'm never doing that again. I am never being authentic again. Reprehensible. Clipping. Sorry. Maybe I should try doing some animation stuff on here, if only just to be more fulfilled. I think it could be fun to set up like a few little animation rigs and try to do some silly skits with the characters you all know. I wish I could say no and love, but like I'm not that confident, y'all. They love you, but do you love them? Who knows? You get to decide. There we go. Filter. Ooh, that looks kind of nice. Oh, that's the other thing I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about making comics for the Patreon, just another way to be more fulfilled by this. More incentive, I suppose. I had, like, the thing is, I had, like, a layout for something that I drew yesterday for, like, pages. Just, like, a short 6-page thing where it's like, oh, yeah, this could be fun. And the thing is, now I can't find it. I think I literally got so high yesterday that I completely lost the file. I think I can't find it on my computer. I think I might have deleted it just while I was whacked out. And doesn't that just say something? You should post your stuff! Like, look, more Amara lore time. I had a webcomic that ran from, like, 2020 to 2023. Alt account. Personal life bullshit. About a little cat. I don't think I got more than, like, 300 Webtoons viewers by posting every day very consistently. Like, 300 episodes consistency. But there were people who loved that thing, genuinely. People who loved it more than I was who was making it. It was... I don't know. I almost want to go back to it just for those people alone. They deserve to have a finished story. Or at least... I don't know, I miss it. But I also don't think I could go back to it just because too much time has passed. Like, I was doing some of those stories when it was, like... stories of, like, pretending to be an adult when I was still living at home, and now that I'm actually out there, I'm expected to write this stuff again. It's... I don't know. Wow, you're getting a lot of Secret Amara lore today. Disappointingly, a lot of it is about my house obsession, but you take what you get. But anyway, where I was going with this is that you should post it. Because I've had people who, like, dreamed about, like, literally had dreams about my work in other places, and it's like, wow, I have enough of a stay on your consciousness that, like, you dream about my work? I don't even think about my work that much. And it was nice. I was never the most popular, not popular enough to go anywhere with it, but it was cathartic for the time that I was doing it, and I think that's all that really matters. A good memory. But recently I've gotten really obsessed with, like, Cam Marshall's Matchmaker. Like, just Cam Marshall's work in general, but Matchmaker is the work they have available to the public. It's just about, like, queer people living in a house, trying to get each other dates. It's fun. It's, like, the cutest little series. I love it so much. And it's so cozy and romantic. And I love it so much. I wish I could make stuff like that. I honestly wish I was just allowed. I don't know, I have this thing about when I'm doing, like, my personal comic work where I have to do something, like, big and important before I'm allowed to do, you know, schmaltz. I have to prove that I'm capable as an artist before I get suckered into a position where I can never make serious art again. But I also want to do the schmaltz so bad! I want to do both! it's... I don't know. I don't know if people would necessarily go for it or pay exclusively for it at this time, but if it's just on my Patreon, then, you know, people will read it if they want to, they won't if they won't. It'll just be like a nice extra thing. I was thinking it could be fun if I get it dubbed as like a motion comic, just as a tier thing, but I don't really know. Hello, Joseph! Good news. He is colored-ish. Esque. He also has a tail. I'm a tail truther. I think it'd be funny if he had a tail, because it goes against exactly everything about his persona that he would hate the most, which is the display of cuteness and weakness. So, of course he has to have one. This is characterization, baby. Also, Joseph, I can't believe you missed so much lore, like my House MD obsession. You missed the House MD lore! I don't know, yeah. I think it'll be fun to do, like, a comic thing for Patreon. Then maybe, like, as an incentive, I can, like, get it dubbed sometime by my friends. I think it could be pleasant. Just, you know. Because you're here, it can give you a scoop on the idea, which I think was going to be like this rom-com-y thing about two people who work at rival restaurants. But the rival restaurants generally have shady shit going on, so they can't exactly address the romance all of the time if I want to do something scary. But they can address the romance some of the time when I feel like doing something really schmaltzy. Have the pride to do so! Literally, I cannot give you confidence like 1,000 miles away or wherever you may be. But seriously. Look, watch CJ the X's video about the 7 deadly sins of art. I swear to God, you need a pep talk from somebody who is going to be way more forceful than me. But basically the way that he's going to say it, I'm paraphrasing here, is that denying the world your own creation because you don't think it's good enough or you don't think you're perfect enough because it's denying the world your masterpiece. It's an inherently selfish act. You gotta put it out there. Like, look, he says it like way more mean, but you need to hear it. I had like I said, I had like a 6-page like sketch of it yesterday done. Just a little mini thing. The thing is, after I got high yesterday, I tried to save it and I think I just fucking lost it forever. Which is like, the universe telling me something, but I'm not gonna listen. I think it could be fun. I also have, okay, Amara lore time. Amara lore. I've been trying to pitch this other comic about about this, like, little girl who thinks her babysitter is a serial killer, but nobody wants it. Haven't checked my trash yet. I think if the file gets deleted from an art program like this, it just kind of vanishes into the ether. It wasn't on my computer long enough for it to really do anything. You should let other people see your baby girl. You gotta. But it's a comic about, like, a little girl who thinks her babysitter is a serial killer. I submitted it to, like, 20 agents last year, but no bites. I think it's the subject matter. Okay, yeah, I've heard of that movie, but the thing is, this is different. It's consciously different. But I think in comics it's different. I was pitching to traditional, like, publishers who do graphic novels, but most of them are probably just aimed at, like, teens. Oh, you found the babysitter hot. You thought Samara Weaving was hot. Call the cops. She is fine. There is no sin here. I told you about the toxic Yuri in House MD and said it was hot. You're normal. Bask in it. Oh yeah, I remember the Space Noir book. I read it, thought it was alright. Talk about a blast from the past, though. Been a while. Fuzz it out into his hair. Yeah, that's the right amount. Yeah, I tried asking my friends for feedback, but none of them are into horror stuff. Squeamish. I want people to be able to see it, but last year I think I just got too burnt out on, like, rejection, so I've barely touched it since. I have, like, one other publisher I could maybe send it to, but after that I'd probably just have to publish it as a webcomic if I wanted anybody to see it at all. Well, the fact of the matter is that nobody's, like, a full-time author nowadays. Not unless you're, like, Stephen King, or, I don't know, J.K. Rowling. I bring up J.K. Rowling not to validate any of her beliefs, but to just say that she came from, like, a lot of money beforehand. And so was able to pursue writing on her own. She was allowed to, like, shop between publishers for a long time while she apparently wrote it on napkins. Meanwhile, Stephen King, while having a hard time getting published initially, got his start in the 80s, where it was just frankly an easier world to get published. And now he's just a legacy guy who gets to lay back on his laurels and just, you know, pump out another bestseller. Pitching a comic book... Well, most of the time when you're pursuing traditional publishing, it depends on who you're actually going for. You can go with a comic company, or you can go with just an agent. An agent who might specialize in graphic novels on occasion, but generally doesn't dabble. Who might go to bigger companies like Scholastic Press, for instance, to get you the book deal, versus pitching directly to companies like Dark Horse or Oni Press. Now, when you pitch to a traditional publisher, a traditional agent, you do what their guidelines say, which is basically give out the plot of your book, give out the plot of your book but more, come up with a log line, which is basically just the really short pitch of the book, like, Oh, Terminator. It's about a guy who has to travel back in time to stop the robot revolution. I don't know, I've never seen Terminator. Something like that. But if you're pitching the comics, sometimes they want to make you put together a pitch packet. A pitch packet is... fuck, sorry, my eye is really bothering me right now. A pitch packet is something similar to what you'd see in animation for a pitch Bible. You introduce the characters, the setting, the story, what'll be in what issue, or episode, that sort of thing. The worst part is that I was on the line with a publisher like last year for like 6 months with somebody who was interested, and then she turned me away because she didn't like the art style. I wasn't sniveling enough to ask her if she'd reconsider it if I redrew it, but God. I came close. Sobering. But yeah, I don't know. I love comics. I'd love to do them as like a job. Same way I'd love to do animation as a job. I want to tell my own stories all the time. It's kind of like what I do here, but more on my terms. I don't know. It's petty to gripe like this, really. I don't like how that collar's looking for him. Sock garter. No, no yellow. This is supposed to be like an off-white, by the way. It's fun. I like it when colors are other things, but you can tell what they're supposed to be. Oh! Congratulations on being 2 weeks sober! That's very important. Congratulations. I'd love if I could do like I said earlier, I really like this one artist called Cam Marshall. She's been doing all these other, like, I told you about her work, his work, their work. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be messing up. But yeah, I'm so sorry. Congrats, Guardians. It's really important, and I'm really glad that you felt comfortable sharing this milestone with me. But this person, Cam Marshall, they created this comic called Matchmaker that I really like. And on their Patreon, they have other comics, like Ethernet Cable Girlfriend, about a robot who escapes from a corrupt facility and becomes a girl's girlfriend, or Video Store, something like that, where it's about a bunch of, like, this messy, complicated romance between a bunch of people who work at this video store that's closing down, so they're all losing this opportunity to, like, talk to each other and tell each other how they feel while they begin putting away the DVDs onto, like, a thumb drive, so that way they can always have them as, like, a memory of their time together. You know, like cheesy stuff like that. I'd love to honestly be able to do that sort of rom-com-y storyline. I think it would be so much fun. Again, sorry about rambling about this stuff. I mean, I know that you guys just came here exclusively to listen to me ramble and draw. Hot, Alistair? I don't know if this is hot. I don't know what people are looking for, truly. But I'm doing it. Wowee. Ah. Where does hands go? Where he hands? Where he hands? There he hands. Hey, valid reason. Like, my mom would never be happy about me doing drugs either. But the fact that you're moving, at least trying to prove, it's important. And you should be able to cherish these milestones. Despite what anybody says. So congrats to you, buddy. Good job. Okay, you get to say that, Joseph, because you missed most of the House MD talk. I didn't even explain why Amber Volaxis is my Princess Diana. You guys just had to take that without prompting. Okay, so the thing is that you guys don't care about spoilers for House MD, right? If you cared about spoilers for House MD... Sad! But, the thing is that Amber Volaxis comes into the series. Oh yeah, like, anybody should watch it. It's absurd. It's awful. I love it, but only out of, like, a disturbing Stockholm need to have, like, a series that finishes satisfyingly and completely. But basically, Amber Volaxis, as we established, is the cutthroat bitch. She's introduced in season 4 because they're like, oh wow, all of House's staff has left him because he just sucks to work with so bad. You know, normal things. She's introduced as the counterpart to House, in that he's also cutthroat and willing to do whatever he wants, whenever he feels it suits him. He wants to be right, he wants to win. That's how they're sort of pitching him, which is not inaccurate, but But the thing is, she sticks around because she's kind of compelling, despite the fact that she's not a main character, because she later becomes James Wilson's girlfriend. Oh, and your art inspiration? That's so sweet. But where was I? I'm sorry, I have to get back to House. I have to get back. He becomes James Wilson's girlfriend, which is, like, a big deal because there's this whole thing where it's just like, oh, she's just, like, a female version of House. Because that's the only way anybody can contextualize manipulation in this stupid-ass show where everybody manipulates each other all the time based on the influence of their terrible, terrible boss. Anyway, I already mentioned this to everybody else, but Joseph, you weren't here for it. There's a part in an episode where he goes and sees them out in public, and then he realizes, he goes up to his boy Bessie and it's like, oh my gosh, you like that she's manipulative. You like that she can make a fool of somebody if it serves her. You like that she's domineering. And then he takes a moment, he pauses, and then he's like, oh my god, you're dating me. And then they both contemplate this for a minute, and then he leaves! He leaves the scene! He flees! He orders a drink, and then he just hands it to his boy Bessie to hold, and leaves. And they never fucking address this, truly. Well, they address it in the sense that for a while, House MD and... I have to use his full name, House MD. House and Amber are basically, like, co-parenting Wilson, and that he'll just be out doing his day, and they'll just be like, we need to share our son. We need to share our boy Bestie. We need to trade hours. I get him Monday and Wednesdays, you get him Friday and Saturdays. That sort of bullshit. It literally reaches the point where they just have to figure out how to share this one guy, because clearly neither of them are gonna let the other have him. He's basically like a giant squeaky toy for them. It's fucked up. He's obviously delighted by this. But then, she dies! Like, it's this whole thing. It's this whole big thing where she's like, she and House are in, like, this terrible bus crash because she went to go pick him up after drinking because she didn't want to have to, like, make her boy Bestie do it because, like, no, you're just gonna hang out with him if you get to see him, I'll do it. And then they get into a tragic bus crash, and they can't give her the right medication because she was, on flu medicine the whole time. So they can't... Whatever she's on won't cycle out of her system fast enough, so they can't let her live. So that she dies. They kill her for basically nothing, but for being like House, and also a woman, and also because of the implication she brought to the narrative, which is that House and Wilson would be dating if circumstances were just slightly different, and it was not 2004 when the show began airing. And it's insane. And it gets worse, because, I haven't gotten to this part in season 5, but apparently he just begins hallucinating her all the time, where she's like, yes, it's Wilson's dead girlfriend. Anyway, that's why she's Princess Diana to me. Also, imagine being, so psychosexually obsessed with your boy best friend that you begin hallucinating his dead girlfriend. Just to be there. To tell you things like, why do you keep imagining me? And he's like, oh man, must be because of my subconscious desire to sleep with Wilson, huh? And she's like, yeah. Anyway, medical mystery time. Somebody's got the fucking plague. House MD is not good. I think everybody should watch it and write a book report about it, though. I want to see what they think. It's not good, but it's there, and I think that's most important of all. Also, does art have to be good? Also, it was 2004. What art was good in 2004? Really? Outside of that Smith's magazine cover of the two girls, college-age girls laying in bed together. That was the only good piece of art that came out in 2004. Oh no, they didn't keep her as a ghost. She was a hallucination that House would consciously have to, come up with when he was really fucking high. Because the thing about House MD is that he abuses drugs a lot. That's part of his character. I didn't bring it up, but it's, a huge part of his character is that he's constantly high. Kind of. He has to take Vicodin because he's disabled and his leg hurts him all the time because they had to cut out a bunch of muscle from it lest he dies. Lest he dies, you know. He's really upset about it, but he is also now on drugs all the time, which is fun for him. So during one of these, benders, he just begins hallucinating her ghost. It just has her, hang around. Which, you know what? King shit. Sure, whatever. He just keeps going on with his life after that. Yes, I recognize that you represent my subtle homosexual desires, but I have a fucking job to do. Yeah, it's worse. The best part about the show is that because it's made in 2004 is that they don't know how to have the conversation about addiction yet. They don't want to, they want to have a conversation about addiction, but it's not deeply nuanced. It's more of the place of oh, he abuses drugs because he's in pain, and it's oh, but he needs the pain in order to be a good doctor. And there's an episode where he's given an autistic patient, and the thing is that the whole episode is set up in a way where you're supposed to ask, does House has autism? I said that so fucking wrong. Does House have autism? Does House have autism? Because he's really particular about the carpet and really particular about noise and really he has stuff going on that's obviously autism coding. They are not subtle about it. He even goes on this whole rant in the middle of the episode about Oh my god, people who are normal get to decide what's normal. It's not fair. It's like, Jesus, man, okay. You have opinions. And then in the middle of the episode, they just decide, he's not autistic. He's just an asshole. And also, he's on drugs. So really, we can't believe anything about him. Which, like, okay. He can be both. He can be all three. This isn't multiple choice. It's delusional. It's not good. The show is not good. You can be autistic and an asshole. I allow you to be. This is my permission that I'm giving to you because I am also autistic and an asshole. No, I wish I could be an asshole. I get too nervous about pleasing people. But someday, I hope I can be really mean. Like my queen. Amber Valaxis. She died, but she lives on forever in our hearts. That moment of silence was for her. No, it's just because I didn't know what to say. Yeah! My influence is increasing! Again, it's not a good show, but sometimes he has a gun. And that causes more problems. It was 2004. Supernatural started in 2005. You'd expect things to get better from there, but Glee came out in 2009, so maybe we were always doomed. At this point, I just miss long-form television enough to go back to the creature comforts of just dogshit television. I don't think television has enough time to suck nowadays. There's a lot of good shows. But then if you see a streaming service that's populating like a bad show, it's like so easy to tell. And then you just don't care about it. Like when Netflix releases a bad show, it's like, okay, it's 8 episodes. I will never have to hear about this again in my life. It might be popular for a year, 2, 6 if you count Stranger Things. No, that was wrong. That wasn't even close. That was like, yeah, about. I don't know how long Stranger Things has been airing. Don't ask me. But like, I don't know. Oh shoot, I forgot to color in his little tooth. Not his little terrible tooth. Also ignore the layers. He needs his... Okay. Okay, still upset about the inside job thing. The thing is, I don't think it was Big Mouth's fault. Like, look, I have to be unfortunately nuanced about this and say that at least Big Mouth is on the air for long enough for animators to continue to have jobs. Like, you know, like I'm at the point where it's like, well, at least people still have jobs. Because, like, things are looking desperate with the animation strikes over the summer. Maybe I'm just talking because I'm a student. And I'm having to go out into the job sphere in, like, the next couple of months, but, like, Christ. But also, Inside Job. Fuck, I love Inside Job. I should really... Christ. I've been rewatching it lately, and it is still so good. There's this person on YouTube who did, like, a 3-part video series about Inside Job where she talked about, like, how it really, like, the family drama aspects of it really heavily. And it was just a nice listen. I put it on whenever I'm feeling bored. Like, chances are I'm probably gonna listen to it, like, later today. Like, in between this stream and the next stream I have to do to stay on schedule. I'm planning on gaming tonight. This is to make up for yesterday, I have to clarify. But yeah, it was so fun. It was great. I've been wanting to do this like animatic for like the longest time to Catabolic Seed because that, oh god, that's a nothing. That's a nothing topic. I'm so fucking sorry. Talking about work that I want to do instead of work that I've done. Oh, you know that restaurant simulator, Dead Like Me or Dead Strong? You know, the one that takes place in like 1960s Paris. There was a makeshift plushie recently. I only know like the vaguest of facts, but it's like an hour and it looks like fun. And also, apparently, the studio has released several other games, so I could just as easily make it into like a mass gaming streaming night. We're just playing those games, which, you know, people might prefer. They're probably easier than Helltaker. We do not need to remember the Helltaker stream. The Helltaker stream was bad, but so funny, but bad. And I can never let that happen again. Coloring in the stupid little ottoman. Whee! Oh shit, sorry man. Oh, it's nice to have you here at least. It's not your fault, I'm just not a gamer! I'm not smart enough for games. I'm not fast enough. My friends deliberately have me play Overwatch because I'm so bad that I can't open up the chat and see all the other players hating on me. Because they hate me. Because I'm bad at the game. They ask if I'm a bot, and I'm just like, haha, I am Widowmaker. Wee. I'm not good enough to be helpful, but I am there. It's not that I don't think Helltaker is good, it's just that I'm bad at playing it. Like, the demon designs are absolutely darling, of course, but I'm just bad at games. Instead of playing games, I spend most of my time, like, preparing for school, and drawing, and writing, and animating. Oh no, I just suck in general. I think I'm best at support classes just because there's such a clear purpose. It's like, oh man, guess I gotta go help people. Which is a lot easier than just being expected to kill. I would like to kill. And yet here I am. But no, I am truly dog shit. Like, my friends sometimes will be like, oh, hey, have you played Valorant? Oh, hey, you know what? You should really play Bloodborne. I bet you'll be really good at Bloodborne. You definitely won't die a billion times. You should play. And I'm like, oh, you should play Poptropica. You know, the website for kids. They have 2 Diarrhea Wimpy Kid themed islands. Isn't that the tightest shit you ever heard? It doesn't work out. The Coffin of Andy and Lele? Huh. I think I was considering that one for a while, but then apparently, I don't know. It feels like it's trying really hard to be shocking. in a way that's almost boring. You know? Like, it obviously wants everybody to be disgusted by the incest. And it's like, I'm not a fan of the incest, but, like, I need more. I don't know, I'm at an age with stories where I'm at a point where I can just go like, wouldn't it be fucked up if this happened? And that's a story, sort of. I don't know, I'm not communicating anything, like, indescribable. It's just that when I got older, it came from the point of, like, I used to approach stories with the idea that they were, like, real because they mattered to me so much. And now I'm at an age where I can approach stories with the perspective of, wouldn't it be fucked up if this happened? And I can explore that to its natural conclusion without the feelings of ickiness. I don't know if I'm explaining it exactly correctly, but I've noticed this happen a lot with, like, online discourse. Wow, I did it! He's done! It took 2 hours! This sucks! Well, it sucks that it took 2 hours, but, like, look at us! Yeah! Is it good? Who knows? Yeah, that's all I got, man. Fuck. Who knows if it's good? But it's done, and I did it. Which is better than, like, yesterday. So, you know. Yeah. I'll be posting him on Twitter as soon as the stream is over. And I guess now would be a good time for the stream to be over. Because I have to make dinner soon for my family. But, like, look at him! Is it good? It's done. It's done! Yippee! Anyway, I'm gonna be shutting down the stream. See you guys in about 2-3 hours, maybe. And thank you all for tuning in. But right now, I gotta tune out. Thank you.